Hello, Faith Gospel Church and friends of Faith Gospel Church. It's Pastor David, and I'm sitting here in my dining room this evening because there is no power in Gallipolis Ferry to be found, and so we had to cancel church tonight, but I wanted to do a quick little devotion, and I know some of you probably won't be able to watch this probably until later on when your electricity comes back on, but I just wanted to share something with you from God's Word this evening, just something from my house to yours. And I was looking at John chapter 8 and verse 12, and it says this, "Then spake Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life." And I thought that was fitting, considering that some of you may be sitting in the dark when you watch this at home. I remember as a boy, I used to hate when the electricity would go out. And we lived on Big Lost Creek, Kentucky. And sometimes the power would go out for days on end, sometimes weeks at a time, because we lived way out in the country. And especially in the winter months, the power would go out, and we'd be sitting in the dark. And I hated it. I used to be scared of the dark when I was young, and I hated when the electricity would go out. But my mom always made it fun. We would set up a puzzle on a table, a little card table. We'd put a puzzle together, and we'd play cards. We'd play cards as a family. We'd go to friends' houses, walk up the road, and kind of distract ourselves from the darkness especially. And no matter how old you get, and no matter how brave you are, there's always something a little eerie about darkness and being surrounded by darkness on all sides. But here in John 8 and verse 12, I see something about the true light. Jesus spake again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. First off, Jesus Christ is the light of the world. There is no other hope for mankind other than Jesus Christ. There's no hope in politics. There's no hope in self-help. There's no hope in humanism. There's no hope anywhere else other than in Jesus Christ. He is, in fact, the light of the world. And in the first part of John, in John chapter 1, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by Him, and without Him was not anything made that was made. In Him was life, and the life was the light of men. And in the next verse it says, and the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. You see, Jesus Christ is the light of the world. He is the only hope in dark times. And we spoke a little bit about this morning in service about revival in a boneyard. And one of the things that we have to realize in this dead and dying world, this hell-bound world, this hellish earth, the only hope for mankind, the only hope for our lost family members, the only hope for us who have no light in us is Jesus Christ, because He is the light of the world. And we know from Revelations that when we get to heaven, there will be no sun or moon, because He Himself will light all of heaven with His glory. So Jesus Christ is the light of the world. He is the only hope for this world. But also in this verse, I see something else. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness. So if you're a Christian, you're following Jesus Christ. And as such, you are no longer walking in darkness. Now, a lot of Christians today choose to pretend to walk in darkness, and they still stumble around in their life when the light of the world is actually guiding their path, and they should follow Him. If you're a Christian, he that followeth me shall not walk in darkness. So if you're watching this evening and you're a Christian, you believe in Jesus Christ, you're following Him, you have hope. You don't have a hopeless life. You have something to look forward to. You have a Savior of your soul and a Lord of your life and a home in heaven when you die. You're not walking in the darkness. You don't have to fear the dark, because you have the light of the world inside of you. You're walking with the light. I was under the house a few days back. We had a little water leak, and there's some lights that are strung underneath my house, and I had a flashlight in my hand. And I felt pretty good about that. You know, I could see things around me. I could see what I was doing. I could see the work that I was doing and I had light. Well, the light that was under the house went out, didn't have a flashlight on, and I became a whole lot less confident in what I was doing because I couldn't see anything. I was fumbling around in the dark looking for my flashlight, and when I found it, I was no longer in darkness. And confidence came back, and I knew what I was doing, and I could see what I was doing. So he that followeth me, Jesus Christ, you're not walking in darkness. You're walking in the light. And that gives you confidence, and that gives you hope, and that gives you a goal to shoot for, and that gives you guidance on your day-to-day life. And you can see where you're going. You know where you're going. You know where you were. You don't want to go back there. You don't want to be in the darkness. You want to be walking in his glorious light. So Jesus is the light of the world. He's the only hope for mankind. He's the only light in the darkness. And if you're following him, you don't have to walk in darkness. You shall not walk in darkness. You're following Jesus Christ. You have the light inside of you. But the last part of this verse is what I really wanted to focus on for just a few moments. But shall have the light of life. You're not walking in darkness. You have the light of life. And why aren't we sharing it with those around us that are stumbling in the dark? You see, Christians, we forget that song, that this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. And then what's it say? Hide it under a bushel? No, I'm going to let it shine. Christians walk around with the light in a dark world. And instead of letting that shine and sharing it with others and trying to give as many other folks around us the hope that we have in us, instead of trying to give others the confidence that we have and where we're going when we die, and the confidence to work in this life and know what we're working towards and who we're working for, instead of sharing that, the light of life, we keep it all to ourselves, don't we? We don't want to tell too many folks about Jesus. Well, it might be awkward. Well, what if they don't like what I have to say? Well, what if they're an atheist? Well, what if they're an agnostic? Well, what if they're mean to me? What if they won't be my friend anymore? What if they get mad? Well, what if they die and go to hell and you've never shared the light with them? What if you knew someone was out in the dark and they couldn't see anything? And they were walking, and they were walking on a narrow path. And on either side, one side was a drop off to 1,000 feet, and the other side was 1,000 feet drop off. And there was just a little path in front of them, and it's complete darkness. And you knew that you had a spotlight that you could shine and show them the way to walk safely, to get over that big gorge and to get to safety. Would you just keep the light to yourself and say, well, no, what if I shine that light over there and they get mad at me? What if I shine that light over there and they think I'm looking down on them? What if I shine that light over there? I'm just going to let them walk and see what happens. Well, without the light, they're going to fall off one side or the other. And then how would you feel about that? To know that you had a light that could literally save their life, and you kept it to yourself for fear, or maybe laziness, or maybe just apathy towards mankind's condition. You have the light of life, Christian. It is your duty to share it with others. It is your duty to shine that light in a dark world. Because in a dark world where people are so depressed, they're so sad, they're so lonely, people are suicidal and they're hopeless, and they turn to drugs and they turn to drink, they turn everywhere because they're just bogged down in the darkness. You have a light that can show them life, and life more abundantly. How selfish is it of us Christians to hide that light under a bushel? We should remember that song, hide it under a bushel. No, I'm going to let it shine. Let your light shine this week. It's a challenge. Usually on Sunday night, we end with the challenge. Sunday night service at Faith Gospel Church, we'll preach, and a lot of times we'll challenge ourselves for the week for something. This is the challenge this evening on Sunday night. You're sitting at home. Maybe you're sitting in the dark still. Maybe you don't have electricity and you're just looking at your phone and you're hoping your battery doesn't die. And you're hoping that AEP linemen can get what's figured out, and they can get to work and get the lights back on. You're sitting there in the dark and you're listening to my voice. Here's the challenge this week. Let your light shine. Because what does it say? Then Jesus spake again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. There's no other hope. There's no other light. He is the light of the world. He's the exclusive light. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness. If you're walking with Jesus, you have the light of the world shining your path, but shall have the light of life. It's the light of life that was shown to you, that was presented to you, that was given to you. Why would you be so selfish to let other people wander around in a dark world when you have the light inside of you? And all you have to do is share it. Well, that's all for this evening. Just a little short devotion. And we love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. And we're going to pray that the electricity gets back on there in Gallipolis Ferry, and everybody has lights and air conditioning and ceiling fans and everything that they need to get through the evening. And we love you, and we're praying for you. And if you're watching and maybe you don't come to Faith Gospel Church on a regular basis, maybe you've never been there, you just happen to see this little 10-12 minute devotion and you thought you would stop, I would encourage you to come and worship with us. We have service every Sunday morning at 9:45. We have Sunday school for all ages, from little bitty all the way to old as can be. And then church starts at 10:45. And then we have Sunday evening service at 6, as long as the power's on and we're able to. And then Wednesday night we have Bible study at 6:30. And if you can come out this Wednesday night, we're doing facts from the book of Acts. I think we're in lesson number 27 or 28. And we've been in Acts for several weeks now, and we've been having a good time growing in the Lord in that. But I hope you all have a wonderful evening. I pray the electricity comes back on, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.